Wix is one of the most popular website builders in the world. They have very high levels of market share, and you've probably seen one of their ubiquitous ads on TV or online or even in the insignia of a baseball team. I am Nate Shiver. I am a marketing consultant. I've worked with brands ranging from household consumer brands all the way to local small automotive shops and every type of website in between. I've used Wix for several clients, including some small projects of my own. I figured that I would share some of the pros and cons of using Wix, what it's good for, what it's bad at, and generally how it works. A quick disclosure, I do receive a commission when you make a purchase from the companies like Wix mentioned on my website or on my YouTube channel. All the data and opinions are based on my experience as a customer or a consultant to a customer who has used Wix or any of the other companies that I've mentioned. Wix is a website builder. And what this means is that they provide domain, they provide hosting, they provide software to run your website. In real estate terms, you can think of them as a condominium or an apartment complex compared to a house. So with a house, you buy the land separately, you build the house, you're responsible for the plumbing, you're responsible for everything in a house. But with an apartment, you have a landlord. You own everything inside of your apartment, but even though you don't own the actual apartment, that also means that you have someone to call to fix the plumbing when it goes bad. That's what Wix is all about. So they have a very straightforward backend. Their main selling point is usability. Just like the idea of renting a condo instead of owning a home with a lot of electrical problems, plumbing problems. That's their main side. They make it pretty easy to try, which is nice. So you don't have to depend on people like me to show you the backend. But this is what the backend generally looks like. There's places to connect your domain, there's places to connect your mailbox, and place to add apps to make your website do more. I'm going to show you how to edit your site. There's a lot of different ways to build a website builder. Wix sticks with the drag and drop method simply because it is very straightforward. You literally drag and drop. As you can see, every element is clickable. If you want to move it around, you just move it around. The downside is that, sometimes this can lead to a very cluttered, ugly setup if you don't know what you're doing. But Wix does get around that by having these design lines that allow you to click things in place. Each element, it has a little edit box if you want to edit the text, edit the animations. It's actually very impressive what they've been able to add in. But building your site just consists of adding new pages, linking them all together, adding pictures, adding menus. You can upload media directly from Google Drive or from your Facebook page, or even connect it directly to Google Photos. I won't spend too much time on showing how it works, simply because they do a good job about making it as intuitive as you can possibly make it. They include previews so you can see how it would look on mobile, and very straightforward ways to publish it directly to the web. It makes building a site for a small do-it-yourselfer very accessible, because there's no real content management system. There's no code to mess with. You won't see any HTML or CSS anywhere. The way they control the colors is directly through the editor rather than through CSS. There's a good number of settings. You can add typical tools like Google and Facebook tracking. depending on your plan. But again, just like an apartment building where you're limited to what you can do to the outside and a lot to the inside, that's also going to be a downside to Wix. But this is generally how it works. This is what their backend looks like. So from there, I'll kind of segue into some of the upsides. The main thing is that Wix is simple. It's straightforward. Their pricing, when people think of how much a website costs, if you don't really pay attention to a domain, hosting, software, if you don't separate all those pieces out, if you're looking for just a walking away price, something that you can pay and just have a website, that's what Wix has. They have these 4 plans. It comes with a domain for each year. You get bandwidth, you get storage, and you can build your site. All their plans are straightforward. They're pretty expensive. I'll get to that in the downsides, but in general, they have all the features that you need to build what I would call a brochure site. A site that isn't meant to exist solely online. It's meant to assist a business that exists offline. It makes that accessible. It makes it easy for agencies to quickly roll out websites, and it allows do-it-yourselfers to, select a template, drag and drop the text that they need, and have it exist online. I've consulted on sites like this. From a technical perspective, they can be very bloated, very ugly HTML on the back end. They can be kind of hard to customize and work with, but for being what they are, straightforward, easy to understand, have checklists like this that make it pretty simple. That's some of what I've covered in the cons, or in the pros. Site onboarding, configuration, their design templates are great. Since they handle all the speed and security, you don't have to worry about that. You never have to worry about having a slow site because you misconfigured something. They're going to handle all that. And they're also going to have customer support that you can just call and talk to. And since they know you're using their product, they know exactly how to help. Now, there are going to be some downsides of using Wix. Some of these downsides are simply because they're a website builder. Some of them are unique to using Wix compared to other website builders. The biggest downside of using Wix is that everything is custom built for the Wix platform. So I've seen this time and time again where a small but rapidly growing client tries to do a do-it-yourself website with Wix, and it works great for the first 2 years, but soon they want some custom functionality. They want to roll out some content marketing. They want custom traffic tracking. They want custom ads. They want more advanced SEO, and so they want to move to a platform, but keep the design that they already have. And you can't just export all the media, all the text, all the files that exists on your Wix website to something that's powered by Shopify or WordPress or Drupal or some other website builder. So even though obviously you own all the stuff that you have copyright to, like your images or text, you can't just export them as is and move them to a new site. Whatever time and money you invest into your Wix website, it's going to be part of Wix. The other piece is that their plans, even though they're straightforward, in some ways they're pretty expensive. They're much more expensive than you could get if you assembled your own site with buying hosting, installing website software, going the building your own house route. But even compared to other website builders, they're on the upper end of price, especially because they have a lot of native apps that they try to sell you on. Not all of them really do a whole lot. So for example, this Site Booster app, it's a $60 value. They're trying to sell you on, getting the extra $4 a month. But the Site Booster app, I mean, it's not going to help you rank higher in search results. Google doesn't use directories anymore. That's like not a thing. This adding business hours and phone number, you can already do that. Premium directories. See, About Us, this is like early 2000s. So anyway, so their pricing is high because, I mean, the $17 a month, basically what you're actually paying for is this 10 gigabytes of storage, which if you're a photographer with a lot of high-res images, you can go through that very quickly. And other website builders such as Weebly, or, for photographers, there's Zenfolio. On my text review, I list out some big alternatives for Wix that you can explore, but the pricing is going to be a pretty big downside, in addition to some of the technical limitations that are just natural for a website builder, but especially a website builder that uses this drag and drop system instead of a theming system where you choose a layout and then kind of paint by the numbers. With this, like, there's no limitations to just moving this wherever you want, which on one hand is great, but if you don't really know what you're doing, it's easy to end up with a site that's uglier than you want, but you also don't really know why it's ugly. And even though they have some basic SEO tools, if you ever get to the point where you want to roll out a blog with different authors, different markups, and really do some advanced SEO to try to get lots of organic traffic for non-brand terms. So, for example, if you're a farmer's market and you want to go beyond just ranking for your own brand name, or Atlanta Farmers Market, and you want to start ranking for recipes, and you want to rank for different fruits and vegetables and some bigger terms, that's going to be very, very hard with Wix. You're not going to be able to do it with their built-in SEO tools. So that's one of the big downsides. But again, it's great. Wix is great for a straightforward brochure site where you just want to be able to own and manage and just pay money and have it done. It's great. But if you want to read more about these pros and cons, be sure to check out the main piece and the links in the description.